Welcome to another episode of the Methow Valley Interpretive Center's Notes from the Center. We are in Season 2, First People of the Methow Map, and we've now traveled up to the upper valley between Mazama and Lost River, and here I am at what is now known as the Bush School, right across from Goat Wall. Just did a little skiing out here on some fresh snow. This area got about 4 inches last night, I heard, and a little out of breath. But here I am, and this upper valley still holds a really important place in the lives of the Methow people. Certain families continue to come up here and camp and gather important cultural materials. Just down the trail is and in this area along the Methow River, lovely cedar groves. That's right, western red cedar, so dominant on the wet side of the mountains, and still here nestled up against the Cascades. Important basketry materials and other cultural materials can be found up in these areas in the cedar groves. Important places for sure. And one of the things I want to read behind, you can see a lot of writing. This is a land acknowledgement that a group of students and then finally one student finished up here, and it's an acknowledgement to the Methow people and to this land. Most land acknowledgements are pretty short, maybe a tagline at the bottom of an email or something said before a meeting. And I want to read this one to you because it goes a little deeper than many. The Bush School recognizes that this campus sits on the homeland of the Methow people. We recognize the Methow people were not consulted or accurately represented in the signing of treaties that resulted in them being forced from their home, thus opening up their homeland to settlement without the opportunity for the native Methow people to speak for themselves. We acknowledge not only the loss of the land, but of the entire territory that the Methow people have lived in and cared for since time immemorial. In order to support the current generation of Methow people and protect their deep connection with the valley, the Bush School encourages you, the reader, to make yourself and others aware of the injustices that have transpired here and to do what you can to forge a more positive relationship with them moving forward. We encourage you to acknowledge and learn about the history of colonization and the ongoing relationship between the Methow people and their homeland. Be aware of the ways that you can support improved land access for Indigenous people and to protect the lands and waters that the Methow people have stewarded for generations. Know that one donation, vote, or conversation cannot change history, but it can be a step towards a more just future. Colonization is an ongoing process, and the Methow people continue to be resilient in tending to their ecological and cultural lifeways. It is a privilege for us to be here on their homeland. We thank these caretakers of this land who have lived and continue to live here since time immemorial. And as you stand beneath Goat Wall, enter the cedar forest and behold the seasonal river, feel the sacredness of this very special place and invite connection to its rightful steward people. It's a lot in there. And I will point you towards Richard Hart's book, Lost Homeland, the Methow people, or the Methow tribe, and the Columbia Reservation, which is a deep dive into the history of what happened. How did the Methow people lose their homeland? That the Methow people, as you can see on the first people of the Methow map, which we have at the Interpretive Center in Twisp, had settlements up here, had permanent villages, and had places where they gathered, they hunted, and they fished. Places like Goat Wall, Goat Peak, Goat Creek hint a little bit at what might have been hunted in this area. Yes, mountain goats, and a lot of other animals. A lot of plants were dug up here, were gathered up here. And as this acknowledgement says, they still are, because the people are still here. They still come here to connect with their culture, to connect with this place that is and was so special to them. I hope you can feel that connection too, and that you can help take care of this place just as the Methow people have since before time. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.